Dear students, Namaskar. In my previous lecture series, you have learnt about the dielectric properties of solids. Now I am going to take up the crystallography as the topic of discussion. In this series of lectures, we are going to understand the basic definitions related to the crystallography and about the crystal planes and directions, Miller indices which have been used in order to represent the planes in a crystal, and we are going to derive an expression for the interplanar distance and the importance of X-rays in studying the crystal structure. These are the things to be covered in my series of lectures related to the crystallography. We have learnt at our elementary levels that the matter is classified into three types: solids, liquids and gases. In the case of gases and liquids, the atomic arrangement or molecular arrangement is random. There is no regular fashion. There is no periodicity in the arrangement of the atoms or molecules in the case of liquids and gases. The reason is that the bonding between those two, bonding between the molecules of the atoms in these two states of matter is weak, whereas in the case of solids, the bonding is strong. That has changed the properties of these materials. In the case of the liquids and gases, since the bonding is weak, the atomic or molecular arrangement is not periodic. There is no regular interval between the atoms or the molecules, hence they are said to have the amorphous structure. But in most of the solids, the atomic or molecular or ionic arrangement is in a regular fashion. There is a periodicity. The regular and periodic arrangement of atoms or the molecules is known as the crystal structure. So that periodicity exists in the case of some solids. Such solids are said to be the crystals. The ordering occurs as though the atoms or molecules are lined up in different directions. Such an ordering in arrangement of atoms results in crystal structure. Of course, the crystal structure may be different in different materials, but regular arrangement of atoms is possible in crystals. Let us have a look into the properties of such materials in this series of lectures. It was defined that the crystal structure is formed by repetitive and periodic arrangement of atoms in three dimensions. One can observe from this diagram that the atoms are arranged in a regular fashion. That means in a given direction, the distance between any two consecutive atoms remains the same. For example, if the distance between these first two atoms is 1 angstrom, the next two consecutive atoms will also have the same 1 angstrom distance. That means there is a regular and repetitive arrangement of the atoms. So this kind of arrangement in three dimensions will have the regular fashion that is known as the crystal structure. In order to geometrically represent such a crystal structure, we use the geometrical points because we cannot always write the spheres to show the positions of the atoms or the molecules. So for simplicity's sake, geometrical points are used. The geometrical points which we use in order to represent the positions of these atoms in a crystal is known as lattice point, and a structure formed by such lattice points is known as the space lattice. Here this diagram shows the space lattice in 2 dimensions, and if they are taken along the third axis, let us say z axis, that forms the 3-dimensional space lattice. So space lattice is a geometrical representation of the crystal structure in terms of the lattice points, and lattice points are geometrical points used to represent periodic intervals of sites of atoms. One can observe here that there are 2 types of structures. This is in fact called body-centered cubic lattice, and this other one is known as the face-centered cubic lattice. We will discuss these different types of crystal systems in the next slides. At this point of time, I can say that this crystal structure is represented with the dots. The corner points are showing dots representing the position of these atoms, corner atoms. And in the case of face-centered cubic, the atoms can be available even on the faces of the cube. If it is the simple cubic structure, the face will also have one atom at its center. That's why it's called face-centered cubic lattice. Let us discuss it later. The Bravais lattice. Now we have already understood the space lattice. This space lattice is classified into 2 types, Bravais lattice and non-Bravais lattice. In the case of the Bravais lattice, each lattice point substitutes for an identical set of 1 or more atoms. In this space lattice, all the lattice points are equivalent. For example, you are observing here that this is a group of atoms. This group of atoms is identical to another group of atoms. This is identical to the first 2. Therefore, we say that this is the space lattice in which each lattice point is representing an identical set of 1 or more atoms. Here we have taken 3 atoms. There may be a number of atoms. Such a group of atoms is known as the basis. And in the case of non-Bravais lattice, non-equivalent lattice points will be there. In this diagram you can observe that these dots are represented with A dash, B dash, C dash, and this lattice point is represented with A, B and C. These 2 are separated by a larger distance, so that these are not a group of atoms. A is representing one particular type of atom, A dash is another type of atom. Here these thick dots are forming one space lattice and thin dots are forming another space lattice. You can say that it is the space lattice having, or it is having the structure in which the 2 space lattices are interpenetrated. Such a system or such a space lattice is known as non-Bravais lattice. And basis vectors. These are the position vectors used to represent the positions of the atoms from the arbitrarily chosen origin. For example, in this diagram, A is the origin. And origin need not be only this particular atom. You can take even this atom as the origin. That's why I told that the origin is arbitrarily chosen. From the chosen origin, if you have to measure the distance of any atom then you need the vectors. For example, here in the two-dimensional structure, we are using the vector A and vector B. These are known as the basis vectors. Vector A is taken along horizontal axis, let us say x axis, and B is taken along y axis. And in 3 dimensions, we will take one more vector. You can observe here, this shows more clearly that A, B and C are the basis vectors which are used to represent the positions of the atoms in the vicinity of the origin. That position vector is represented with capital R in terms of 3 integers n1, n2, n3. And A, B and C are already known. Here n1, n2 or n3, such values, for example for capital D, here in this diagram, are 1 and 1, xy values 1 and 1, and -1 and 2 for E, this point, because if you think this is the positive x-axis, this is the negative x-axis, so that it is translated by 1 unit on negative x-axis, that's why -1 is taken, and this point is translated by 2 units on positive y-axis, that's why it is -1 and 2. So that n1, n2, n3 are integers used to represent the x, y, z values, the coordinate values. And in the 3 dimensions, n3 will also be taken. Now unit cell. Let us understand what unit cell is. It is the smallest geometrical pattern that repeats itself along the 3 basis vectors to form the space lattice. Now you can recall an example in which the bricks are used in constructing a building. You can think the brick is the building block, the basic building block of the wall or the building. Similarly, here in the case of the crystal structure, there will be a smallest geometrical shape that repeats itself in a given direction or in the 3 dimensions to form the crystal structure or the space lattice. This shows the unit cell. And in 2 dimensions, this ABCD is the unit cell. If this repeats, that will form the space lattice. So, unit cell is the basic building block of the crystal structure. In order to understand the properties of the crystals, it is essential to know about the lattice parameters. It is already known about the parameters A, B and C. These are the vectors, position vectors used to represent the positions of the atoms in the vicinity of the arbitrarily chosen origin. And alpha, beta, gamma are the 3 angles. They are also known as opposite angles because alpha is taken opposite to A, beta opposite to B and gamma opposite to C. They are also called as interfacial angles. So these angles alpha, beta, gamma and the basis vectors A, B, C constitute the lattice parameters. And unit cell is of 2 types, primitive and non-primitive cells. In the case of primitive cells, the lattice points are taken only at the corners, whereas in the non-primitive cell, atoms need not be at the corners. It may be at a point inside the body also. But the basic property of non-primitive cell is that it is the integral multiple of the primitive cells. In this diagram itself you can observe that the area of this unit cell is twice the area of this particular unit cell. So, non-primitive cell is made by the primitive cells themselves. In the case of primitive cell, atoms exist or the lattice points exist at the corners. The different types of crystal systems. I was mentioning about simple cubic and face-centered cubic while talking about the crystal structure in the beginning. There are 7 unique arrangements. These are the 7 basic crystal systems. Different types of materials can have different types of crystal structures, but the 7 basic structures are these: simple cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral, monoclinic, triclinic and hexagonal structures. Simple cubic itself has 2 more variants: body-centered cubic and face-centered cubic. In this way, the other unique arrangements also have some variants that sums up to 14. Bravais has shown that there are 14 basic crystal systems, Bravais systems. So, 7 basic systems are simple cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral, monoclinic, triclinic and hexagonal. This is self-explanatory. You can observe that A, B and C are equal. That means the lengths of the sides of this unit cell are equal. And even interfacial angles alpha, beta, gamma are also equal to each other and equal to 90 degree. If one of the sides is longer than the other two, it forms the tetragonal. That is the slight modification in the cubic structure. And if all the 3 sides are unequal, keeping alpha, beta, gamma equal to 90 degree, it is known as the orthorhombic crystal system. And rhombohedral, A, B and C are equal. Alpha, beta, gamma are also equal but not equal to 90 degree. In the case of monoclinic, all the sides are unequal as in the case of orthorhombic. Alpha, gamma are 90 degree but beta is different from 90 degree. That will make monoclinic structure. And this triclinic structure has the ABC values similar to that of monoclinic structure, but alpha, beta, gamma are different from each other and different from 90 degree. In the case of hexagonal structure, A is equal to B similar to the tetragonal structure, but C is different from A and B. Alpha, beta are 90 degree but gamma is 120 degree. So in order to picturize the alpha, beta, gamma, it is good to have a look at this diagram. As I was mentioning, Bravais demonstrated mathematically 14 types of arrangements for Bravais lattices. Some elements can have polymorphism. Polymorphism means it is the property of an element or a substance to crystallize in several solid phases with different crystal structures. For example, I had taken the example of iron in the beginning, wherein I was mentioning that from room temperature to 910 degrees centigrade, iron will be crystallized in BCC, body-centered cubic structure. When the temperature exceeds 910 degrees centigrade, it will form the face-centered cubic structure. That is known as gamma iron, and the iron at the temperature below 910 degrees centigrade is known as alpha iron. BCC, FCC and simple cubic structures are shown here. In the case of simple cubic, only corners will have the lattice points, or the positions representing the atoms or molecules. Whereas in the body-centered cubic, one lattice point will be at the center of the unit cell, body of the unit cell. And in the other variant, the centers of all the 6 faces will have the lattice points. This is known as FCC. Now let us understand what are the directions in crystal lattice. This diagram shows a unit cell with arbitrarily chosen origin capital A. In order to show the direction in which a lattice point is located from the origin, a vector representation is used. Position vector of a lattice point is given by vector r equal to n1a plus n2b plus n3c. It was already mentioned earlier that n1, n2, n3 are the integers, a, b, c are the basis vectors as shown in this diagram. A, B, C. Here, for example, direction AB is represented with 1, 1, 1 because the x, y, z coordinates are said to be 1, 1, 1 for this particular point. AC is also represented as 1, 1, 1. You note this point. In fact, from the origin, the xyz coordinates are 2, 2, 2. But this direction AC is lying on the direction AB, or you can say it is parallel if it is separated. If there is any other direction parallel to AB, then that direction is also represented with the same 3 integers 1, 1, 1. Therefore, here AB and AC both are represented with the same 3 integers. AD, this is 1, 1, 0. That means D is not visible on the diagram. This is in fact D. That means 1 unit translation in the direction of A, 1 unit translation in the direction of B, 1, 1. But there is no translation in the C direction. Therefore, it is 1, 1, 0. AE, E is not shown here. This is E. This particular lattice point is translated only in the direction of A. Therefore, it is taken as 1. Not translated along B and also along C. Therefore, they are written as 0 and 0. Hence, the direction is represented with the 3 integers 1, 0, 0. Similarly, AF. F is also not shown here. F is a point on the negative x-axis or negative direction of the unit vector A. For example, this is the point where F is located. That F is translated by 1 unit along negative A direction. Therefore, it is 1 bar. It is to be read as 1 bar. And that is not translated either along x-axis or along y-axis or along the z-axis. Hence, we take 0, 0 in order to represent this particular direction, this direction. direction towards left from origin A. It is very important to note that set of parallel directions are represented with the same three integers expressed inside angular brackets. I was saying earlier that direction AB and AC are represented using the same set of integers. When there are such a number of directions which are parallel to each other or lying in the same direction, then they have to be represented with the same three integers but inside the angular bracket. If there is the rotational symmetry, for example, this is 1 0 0 direction and 0 1 0 direction. 0 1 0 direction means from the origin there should not be translation along A, but there should be translation along B and no translation along C. In such a case, this direction is actually represented with 0 1 0. 0 0 1 means no translation in A direction, no translation in B direction, but translated this way. Therefore, this vertical direction is represented with 0 0 1. The direction that is taken opposite to 1 0 0 means this direction. If it is translated by just 1 unit, it is said to be 1 bar 0 0. If it is translated by 2 unit, it is 2 bar 0 0, but since it is in the same direction of 1 0 0, 1 bar 0 0, that is also treated as 1 bar 0 0. Hence, 0 1 0, 0 0 1 bar, all these 6 directions are said to have the rotational symmetry. When they have the rotational symmetry, they can also be represented with the same set of integers. Rotational symmetry means here rotation is by 90 degree. This direction and this direction 90 degree. If you take this direction, there is 90 degree rotation. Now if we take this one, this is having 90 degree. Therefore, they are said to have the rotational symmetry. Such directions are also represented with the same set of integers. Let's understand planes in a crystal. As we discussed in the case of the directions in the crystal system, even planes also can be imagined to exist within the crystal structure. As you are observing in this particular diagram, that is the two-dimensional lattice, space lattice. Here I have taken the three-dimensional space lattice. In this case, a plane is said to be passing through this set of lattice points, and there are the planes parallel to it. Similarly, you can consider another plane in another direction that is passing through another set of lattice points. In this way, it is possible to imagine a number of planes within the crystal system. Here, if you think this is a face-centered cubic lattice, you can imagine these many number of planes, so that each plane is passing through a set of lattice points, so that a space lattice may be regarded as made up of a set of equidistant parallel planes passing through the lattice points. They are called lattice planes. For a given space lattice, the directions can be chosen in a different number of ways as I described here. It is not necessary to choose the planes only in this direction. You can choose the direction this way. Of course, there are some restrictions which we understand at the later parts of our discussions. In order to geometrically represent these planes, again three integers are used. They are known as Miller indices. They are defined as the three integers which are denoted by h, k and l. They are used to designate a plane in a crystal. These are the three lowest integers expressed in the parenthesis as h, k, l. You have to observe that in order to represent directions in the crystals, we used square brackets. Here to represent the planes, we use the parenthesis, a small bracket. In order to determine the Miller indices, there is a procedure. And that procedure involves importantly 4 steps. In the first step, we have to find the intercepts x, y and z along the crystal axis. For example, in this diagram, a plane is selected. This plane is having the intercepts on the x direction, y direction and the z direction. X, y and z directions. On the x direction, intercept is small letter x, and on y direction it is y, and on the z direction we have taken z. And the basis vectors taken along those directions are a, b and c. So that while determining the Miller indices, first we have to identify the basis vectors, intercepts x, y, z along the crystal axis. In terms of basis vectors, we have to identify. For example, in this diagram, x is equal to, from here to here, it is half of a. X value, x intercept is half of the basis, magnitude of the basis vector, and y is 3/4 here, 3/4 of b, and z, we have taken z here, c is equal to 1, z equal to 1c. Here in this diagram, C is wrongly shown. C, length of C should be taken up to this point in order to say that Z is equal to 1C. Second step, we have to express these ratios or the fractions of x, y and z to a, b and c respectively. That is x by a, y by b and z by c. For example, we have taken x as equal to half of a, y equal to 3/4 of b and z equal to 1c. Therefore, x by a is half of a by a, y by b means 3/4 of b by b and z was equal to 1c, therefore 1c by c. On cancelling the similar terms, you will get half, 3/4 and 1 by 1. The third step, now you take the reciprocals of these ratios. That means you have to take a by x, b by y and c by z. Reciprocals should be taken. And in this example, half, 3/4 and 1 by 1 are the ratios we have got. Therefore, take the reciprocals. We will get 2 by 1, 4 by 3 and 1 by 1. Finally, in the step 4, find out the LCM of denominators and multiply that LCM with the above 3 ratios. Here we have, for example, taken these ratios. LCM is 3. That 3 must be multiplied with these numerators. 3 2s are 6, 3 4s are 12, divided by 3. So you will get 4 and 3. So those values are expressed here. 6, 4, 3 are the Miller indices. And these Miller indices, which are actually denoted with H, K and L, which are expressed inside the parenthesis as mentioned earlier, represent a set of planes, not only single plane, they represent a set of planes. In case there are a set of parallel planes, they are all represented with the same indices. As discussed in the case of directions, they are all directions parallel to each other, or the directions lying in the same direction will be taken in terms of the same three integers, but expressed in the angular brackets. But here, if there are the parallel planes, we express the Miller indices of those planes inside the flower bracket. For example, here in this diagram you can observe that this is one plane, this is in fact called 1 0 0 plane, and this is the 1 0 0 plane, this is also 1 0 0. So all these sets of parallel planes are represented with the same Miller indices. Here also this plane and this plane and this plane, these are all parallel to each other, therefore they are represented with the same set of numbers. While discussing a number of examples, you will understand how to obtain these HKL values. In my next lecture I will take up how to determine the Miller indices, or if the Miller indices are given, how to draw such planes. So at this point of time you just understand that the Miller indices are the three lowest integers used to represent a plane or a number of planes which are parallel to each other, or if they have the rotational symmetry. For example, here in this case, if you say this plane is 1 0 0, another plane is just rotated by 90 degree, is also said to have 1 0 0. This is another plane rotated by 90 degree from this one. Therefore these planes are said to have the rotational symmetry. So the 6 faces have rotation symmetry, therefore they are represented with the same set of integers. This 1 0 0 but written inside the flower brackets. So this is what